The first thing that broke me wasn't the laughter. It was the text that buzzed in my pocket while I was still standing there frozen, holding a plastic cup of champagne. Relax. It was just a joke. Don't make this a thing. I hadn't even left the room yet. An hour earlier, I'd walked into the office party proud. Sounds stupid now, but I'd worked there 7 years, climbed quietly, stayed late, covered for people who never thanked me. This party wasn't just free food and forced smiles, it was visibility. Managers, executives, the people who decided who mattered and who didn't. And my wife Lena was on my arm. She looked stunning in a way that made people turn their heads. I remember squeezing her hand, feeling lucky, thinking this is my life. This is solid. Then the microphone came out. It started harmless. Drinks loosen people up. Someone joked about deadlines. Someone else teased a manager. Then Lena laughed, too loud, and said, "Oh, come on, if we're being honest, you should hear how serious he acts at home." Few chuckles. I smiled, confused. She kept going. How he pretends he's indispensable, when half the time he's terrified of messing up. She tilted her head, playful. Right, babe. The room laughed. Not cruelly. Casually. That was worse. I felt heat crawl up my neck. I tried to interrupt, but she waved her hand like I was part of the bit. I mean, he's sweet, but wow, so sensitive. You criticize one thing and he sulks for days. My manager laughed. My director raised an eyebrow. People looked at me differently, like they'd just been given permission. I stood there, smiling because I didn't know what else to do. Later, in the bathroom, I stared at my reflection. The lights buzzed. My ears rang. I told myself I was overreacting. Lena was nervous. She'd had wine. Couples tease each other. But something cracked. After that night, little things stopped lining up. She started staying late at work, but her explanations were thin, rehearsed. She'd angle her phone away when she texted. If I entered the room, conversations ended. Once I called her during lunch. Straight to voicemail. 10 minutes later, in a meeting. She used to tell me everything, annoying coworkers, dumb emails. Now there were gaps. Silence where intimacy used to be. I blamed myself first. I replayed the party in my head, wondering if my face had embarrassed her. If my quiet nature felt like a liability next to her confidence. I tried harder. Complimented more. Listened longer. She seemed relieved. Distracted. The proof didn't come in a dramatic explosion. It came on a Tuesday night while folding laundry. Her phone buzzed on the bed. I glanced without thinking. Can't stop replaying last night. You were incredible. My stomach dropped so fast I thought I might pass out. I didn't confront her right away. I hated myself for that, but I needed to understand. I checked the thread later, dozens of messages. Inside jokes. Complaints about me. About how fragile I was. How I needed to grow up. The humiliation at the party wasn't a slip. It was practice. I remembered moments differently after that. Her laugh when I talked about work. The way she'd correct me in front of friends. The subtle eye rolls. They weren't harmless. They were rehearsals for replacement. When I finally confronted her, she didn't scream or cry. She sighed. "You're making this bigger than it is," she said. I felt invisible. "He sees me." I asked her about the party. She looked away. "I didn't think you'd take it so personally. That hurt more than the affair." She said she was sorry, but it was the kind of sorry that wanted absolution without consequences. She talked about stress. About mistakes. About how hard things had been for her. I listened. Then I stood up. For the first time in months, my voice didn't shake. "You humiliated me," I said. "Not just as your husband. As a person." She reached for my hand. I stepped back. Leaving didn't feel powerful. Felt hollow. But it felt honest. The next week at work was brutal. People were polite. Too polite. But something changed too. I stopped shrinking. I stopped apologizing for taking up space. I spoke up in meetings. I let the silence work for me. Humiliation had stripped me down, but it also showed me what I'd been tolerating. Sometimes I still hear the laughter from that night. But now it reminds me of the moment I finally saw the truth. And chose myself anyway.